Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Athabasca University's kickoff presentation to Open Access Week. For those of you who aren't aware, October 19th to the 23rd marks the first International Open Access Week. And this event has been expanded from just a single-day event to accommodate the widespread global interest in this movement toward open public access to scholarly research. Athabasca University is supporting this year's Open Access Week by hosting daily online presentations Monday through Friday. These presentations will explore the major issues and opportunities that are presented by open access, with each session featuring an internationally known promoter and developer of open access resources, research, or ideas. The sessions will be recorded and archived on AU Space, which is Athabasca University's own open access repository. And we'll also post the PowerPoint presentations on the site if you're interested. Those can be found at the following link, and I will post it into the text box there for you. There we go. Now, during the presentations, there will be opportunities for questions and comments, and we invite you at that time to use the microphone in Illuminate by clicking on the microphone icon in the bottom left corner of your screen. Please remember to click on it again when you're done speaking in order to free it up for someone else. You can also let us know that you're waiting to speak by clicking on the hands up icon, and that's in the bottom left corner of your participant box. It's a little hand with a green up arrow, and when you click on that, a little bell will go off to let us know that you're waiting to speak. If you don't have audio capabilities, you can also text questions and comments in the text box, and we'll try to stay on top of those as those go around. Now today for our inaugural session, we welcome our own Terry Anderson. Terry is a professor and Canada Research Chair in Distance Education at Athabasca University. He's published widely in the area of distance education and educational technology. Terry is active provincially, nationally, and internationally in distance education associations, and he's a regular presenter at professional conferences worldwide. He teaches educational technology courses in Athabasca University's Master's and Doctorate of Distance Education programs. Terry's research has focused on interaction and its use and impact in distance education contexts. And beginning with audio conferencing, he's moved with the technology through studies on video conferencing, immersive worlds, and most recently to the application of social software and Web 2.0 technologies in distance contexts. And for those of you who didn't know, he actually organized the first virtual conference ever held in conjunction with ICD Bangkok conference back in 1992. Terry is also the director of CIDR, and I see many names here of people who have joined us for CIDR sessions. For those of you who don't know, CIDR is the Canadian Institute for Distance Education Research, and Terry is also the editor of IRADL, the International Review of Research on Distance and Open Learning. So on that note, Terry, with all of your accomplishments in open access spelled out there, I'm going to thank you for taking the time to present, and I'll turn over the mic at this point.
Great. Well, thank you, Lynn. And I will turn off the recorder so that I can scratch my nose when I'm talking, and I won't be embarrassed. And welcome, everybody. It is a thrill to be able to host this first session of Open Access Week. And I'd really like to thank Tony Tin, who's with us from the AU Library, for really pushing forward and making this event happen. And, of course, for Lynn for moderating all 5 sessions. I hope that you're going to be able to come back for the next 4 noon-hour sessions. I see Patrick Andrew is with us today from the Open University in the UK, and he's going to be talking about research tomorrow. Then our president on Wednesday about open access publishing, specifically Open AU Press. Then Thursday we get Tony Tin talking about repositories, and then finally Rory McGreal wraps it all up by talking about learning objects. So there's Lynn with the schedule. So I hope that you'll be able to be here live or be able to take a look at the slides in retrospect. Okay. What I'm going to talk about, well, there's an introduction to me, my smiling face mug, and this is if you've not played with Wordle, you can punch in Wordle. I think it's an IBM developed software, but it's open access that you can use, and you can type in any text. And so I just dumped in my full 25-page CV, and that's what came out, the little tag cloud listing all the things that are most popular or most commonly mentioned. So it's a real nice thing to throw your course outline or maybe your institution's mission statement in, and you can see what pops out. It's kind of a fun thing to do. I'm going to talk based upon that set of values that I always start conversations or presentations with. And the first is just to say that we are going to, and we will, and we need to improve the quality of the teaching experience. Too often teachers seem to think that the way they were taught, or having 5 students in front of them face to face, is the penultimate or the ultimate way to instill learning. And I think that we've got a long ways to go, and I think that the technologies in particular offer a lot of opportunities that we have not yet exploited. Student control and freedom, the capacity to time shift, to place shift, to shift content, to shift relationships, to make those things so they work for individuals, I think is critical. And in the process, I think we really have to keep in mind the fact that education is expensive, and education for elites is not sufficient, that we have to become much more cost effective. What I'm going to talk about is the Open Scholar, and I was inspired by a blog posting from Gideon Burton from Utah, and he wrote a blog post on the Open Scholar, and he listed a number of characteristics of open scholarship, and I sort of taken some of those and expanded upon them. But I'll start with his definition. He says the open scholar is someone who makes their intellectual projects and processes digitally visible, and who invites and encourages ongoing criticisms of their work and secondary uses of any or all parts of it at any stage from its beginning to the end. So you can see the key features are that it's accessible, and that usually means digitally visible. Not that I have anything particularly against paper, except its cost. But if it goes in print or it goes in a media that doesn't allow others to access it, it's restricted in its openness. And secondly, the idea of reuse, that people build on each other's accomplishments and their work, and they can pick it up and recreate. And that way, and that maybe is one of the only ways we're going to accelerate the needed increase in educational quality and quantity. So I'm going to argue in this presentation, I think I have about 30 slides talking about various components of open scholarship, but I'm going to argue that it's basically a new dimension of education and scholarship context, and it maximizes social learning, as meaning that scholars learn from and with each other, that they use media effectively both in their discovery and the dissemination of their scholarly work. It uses new pedagogies, especially connectivist pedagogy, where we're tying people are making and creating links with each other in order to accomplish their individual and their collective goals. Ubiquity and persistence, just like this tape, there might be people who are watching this recording an hour from now or 2 years from now, and welcome to all of those. But that's one of the very useful things about the net, is its capacity for persistence. Open data collection and research processes, and finally the capacity that open scholarship enables us to make change. So I'll begin with where we're going to end this week with Rory McGreal, but I'm not going to cover a lot of time on open educational resources. But there has been a real explosion of open educational resources available globally, started by MIT, but certainly picked up by many others, including Patrick's, the Open University. And we're starting to see these resources aggregated and gathered together, and we're seeing OER Commons, which allows you to search across a number of repositories, institutional repositories, and ones like Merlot, one of the very first learning object repositories, still in existence, has thousands of learning objects that are being reviewed and disseminated. And the idea is that books are fine, it's just that they cost a lot of money and they're not